Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we are, the fighter and the kid. We've missed you. We got Rashad Evans.
Sugar.
You guys go way back.
We do go way back, Bryan. Yeah. I've had great times and great training with that guy.
I've heard nothing but he's just a very entertaining, silly guy in the best of ways.
You know what? Rashad's one of those guys who, from the very start, since the first day I met him, was just a real positive influence on my career.
Mm.
And then what was weird is when I went on the Ultimate Fighter, he was my coach. Crazy.
He was.
Yeah.
How much did he teach you and tell you? Or that's what I've always wondered. When you guys are in the Ultimate Fighter by that point, does a coach is he teaching you stuff or is he just your coach?
No, there's really no teaching. There's more it's more of a mental thing because, I mean, you're there for 6 weeks. There's really nothing you're going to learn.
So he's not going to be like, hey, jab here and then.
No, he's not going to be like, hey, do this. I mean, there's certain game plan stuff, but, I mean, especially then, I didn't have much experience. So it was just about going in there and scrapping. But for me, it was more Rashad from a mental standpoint. He's like, man, what you're doing is really important. You stick with it, because it's tough in the house. So Rashad like, stick with it, man, and you're going to set yourself up for life. I'm telling you, man. You do well on the show. You get to the finale. You get a UFC contract. Things are going to go well for you.
Yeah. No pressure, by the way.
No pressure. Right? No pressure.
In a house.
In a house with straight killers, especially my season, man. Some good guys. But Rashad was just that guy, man. I was fortunate where he was my teammate before I went to the house. So I was around Rashad all the time, and he was just super positive. And I didn't know much about the game, and Rashad taught me a ton. Wow. I mean, I'll talk about it with him, but I'll never forget Rashad he told me he was going through some stuff, and at the time had a serious girlfriend. I thought it was over. I was checked out. I thought she was the one for me. I was with her for like 4+ years, and Rashad was like, yeah, your girl doing good, huh? I'm like, yeah, and this is in between the show finish, and it was the finale. And he just looked at me and goes, you'll see. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I'm telling you, man, it's a beast. To do this and to stay with your girl, it's going to be a beast, man. There's not too many guys can do it. He goes, you can do it. I'm just telling you, it's going to be a challenge. And
you'll
see.
Yeah, there's this idea. We all have this idea. I think that we all have this idea that we're going to get somewhere. Once we get a lot of money, we're going to get somewhere and we're going to sit back and just chill. And I don't think...
When's that happen?
I don't think that ever happens, and I don't think it ever should happen. And I think probably it happens right before you die. I don't know what that even means. Like, I was trying to define certain things. Like, what do you mean by getting there? What do you mean by love? What the fuck are we talking about with all these definitions? You ever try to really define certain things? Like if you actually think of what you are trying to do, what are you trying to really do? The objective is usually to get to know yourself. You should know yourself. So what do? You put yourself in positions where you're not sure you can come out of them, and you come up against yourself and blah, 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 and your biggest opponent is yourself and all these cliche lines. But I feel like any type A personality, or for that matter, anybody that does produce or create a lot, never really stops.
Well, that's what makes them successful.
I guess
that's how they got to that point.
Okay, but
I guess define success.
Is it driven by a lack of peace of mind? I definitely don't have peace of mind. How about that?
Ever.
No,
I never have.
No, I never have.
I thought when I bought my Porsche, it's always been a goal since I was literally 4 years old. I thought I'd feel different.
Oh, forget it.
I woke up the next day, was like, oh, all right.
I know.
It's just really 4 wheels.
Right, I'm trying to write a whole new hour. By the way, I'll be at Sacramento. I'm in Sacramento tonight. 2 shows. Saturday 2 shows.
Yeah, good pitch.
The punchline. No, but very quickly, just to say that. But I was thinking, I'm trying to write a new hour here, and I was like, what am I going to write about? Oh, okay, I can be funny, but you got to start asking yourself big questions. Like, what am I doing? What am I afraid of? What do I want my kids to say about me? What do I want my friends to say about me when I die? What do I want them to say about me now that I'm alive? You start asking yourself these questions and you start wondering, what is motivating you? Why do I box? What am I doing?
Well, I don't think you want to base it off of what are they saying about me.
No.
That might be your first problem.
No. I agree with you 100%. You've got to be self-motivated. What I meant to say is that as a self-motivated person, which I think I am, I wonder how I'll be defined. I wonder how I'll be remembered, if at all, by the way. And I wonder if that's even important.
I don't think it should be on this journey. I don't think once you stop to think like that, I think you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Because there's someone next to you. There's a comedian next to you. There's an actor next to you who's just head down going.
Yeah.
Who's not worried about how they're being defined or what their legacy is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then once you get to that top of the mountain, then maybe they might look down and be like, you know what? I wonder what my legacy is. You know what I'm saying?
I wonder what happens to people. Like some people, like they have this saying in Hollywood, people scratch and crawl, they climb the wall, and they get to the top of the wall, and they get up there and they realize it's the wrong wall they've been climbing, or they don't like the view. That's got to be.
They don't like being famous.
They just don't like the view.
And
They're
there's
like,
nothing you can
I've been
do.
spending my whole life trying to get here, and this has been bullshit.
There's been
like people who do anything they can to make a lot of money.
Have you
get
seen
a big bank account?
Have you seen some of those actors and actresses who they were famous and then it was just too much and they just dipped out, left LA.
I appreciate
they moved
that,
to like Iowa or something.
Yes, I've always appreciated those kind of actors. I'd love to just be like, and Oscar, peace, see ya.
No, you wouldn't.
Nah,
What?
not at all.
Yeah,
Are you kidding me?
You and me?
You'd never see me.
Yeah,
I'd bring you
you'd
along.
big time me.
Are you?
I remember Rashad once he won he beat Chuck Liddell. He's the world champion. I remember guys in the gym were like, Rashad's changed, man. Rashad's changed. I can't even get a hold of him. I was like, well, do you think maybe he's just more busy?
Yeah.
Do you think he just has a crazy schedule?
You think his phone is just ringing off the hook?
By everyone?
Yeah.
I don't think he's big timing you. Maybe he's just crazy busy, man. He'll see you when he gets in the gym. Yeah. Maybe you've changed.
Yeah.
That's usually what happens.
They say that's what happens. People change around you because they're like,
when there's success, they usually like, man, Brendan's changed.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Or my buddy Klopp said this. People were like, God, Brendan Klopp's changed. And these were friends of ours in college. And Klopp's like, oh, you mean from 10 years ago? Yeah, I have changed. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, playing Edward 40 hands and fucking sweatpants, we've changed a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like nice things and make good money.
Thank God.
Yeah, we've changed
You
a
should
little bit.
always be changing.
Yes.
You should always be changing. That's the one thing that when you get to be my age and you run into people you knew 10 years ago, everybody looks a lot older and you're like, man. I look like you're dusty looking, just like me. I'm out of here.
See ya.
Or some people just it hasn't worked out. That's my favorite, where they're just like, things are good. So ask me how.
I love this.
So I'll ask you how you're doing, and you be me,
right.
and then just start telling me about some of your projects, and they're not listening. They panic. Watch this. So how you doing? What are you up to? What are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm in. I got this movie going on.
Oh, it's good. It's good. Good to hear.
Yeah,
me too.
no,
I've got something going on too. I got a couple projects, not off the ground yet, but they should be. We're waiting for financing right now. It's been a bitch, but at the end of the day, I think we just got. There's this crowd. You're like, holy shit! They're not even hearing you.
I
They're
love
just
those
panicked.
people. I had a coffee meeting with this guy the other day. I told you about this. He would tell his story and we'd be engaged. And then when I went to exchange my story, he would stare off at the traffic. I'm like, bro,
those people are fun to be
what
around.
the fuck? And then he'd turn around himself. He wouldn't listen to what I was saying. He just turned into, I've been there, man. Now what else I'm trying to do? Or how about the guy who's always like, when you talk to him, he's like, I'm so busy. Cool, man. What are you doing? I got this gig in North Hollywood, and then and then later tonight, and it's like, well, what's the gig? What is it, man? Well, my friend's like writing this script, and I'm gonna help him. Like, well, cool. Oh, so that's like
nothing.
That's like an all day thing.
So absolutely nothing.
And how much money do you make for that? How much is that paying? It's just like, come on, man.
It's a
the
tough
person
one.
who's always busy.
It's just L.A. That's I see a lot of that in L.A. It's just tough, man, because you come with a plan. We all do. I came here to be a movie star. Hasn't really worked out. But it's going to. No.
It kind of has. You've been in a shitload of movies,
I know, but
man.
you never. Again, when you're me, you measure success with a very different metric. So you don't feel like you've been that successful. And and by the way, it keeps moving forward.
Hey,
how's my career going to be in a year? I don't know. It never. There's no guarantees.
Hey, are you ever doing something and you're like, what the fuck am I doing? What am I? Is this what my life is right now?
Yeah, my
Is that
entire
what
life. That's basically, yeah. And he said, not kidding at all.
Yeah, you're like,
you ever look at yourself and go, how did I get here? And what am I doing? What happened?
This morning. I'll tell you what, though. Yesterday I was doing a cooking show for 6 hours. 3 hours into it, I'm literally chopping salmon. And I just was like, in my brain, I thought, what in God's name in the fuck am I doing here on a fucking, what is it, Wednesday night?
Some days that happens.
What the fuck am I doing?
I
couldn't stop laughing. Could not stop laughing. I was like, look at me on a cooking show. Look at me cooking. Acting like I cook. But I told them I could cook. So I'm like cutting the salmon.
You told them you could?
Oh, yeah. Cutting the salmon, the
that's
asparagus.
great.
I can cook. I can cook pretty good, yeah.
All right.
But
man,
just in my head,
there you are.
3 hours into it, I'm like,
doing a favor for a friend.
yeah, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? Am I really doing a cooking show right now?
I've wasted more time when I take stock on the past 20 years now. I have the people I've hung with and the things I've done.
Is it a waste of time though?
I had a
because
great
you learn. It's made you who you are.
Yeah, I've had
like
a
that
great
cooking show. I did it with Jen Brown, who's a good friend of mine. There was a scene where the asparagus wasn't cooked, and we had to act like it was and eat it. And she took a bite of it, and she's like, "Oh, Brendan, try it," like on camera. And I take a bite of it, I go, "Oh my God, it's really good!" And everyone could tell I was lying, and I was trying to swallow it. Everyone burst out laughing. To me, that was worth it. You don't have to pay me anything.
I agree.
To me, that was worth the payment. I could
Yeah.
not stop laughing.
I don't think I've ever, looking back on it, I don't think I've ever regretted doing anybody a favor, and that includes lending money and losing it. I don't care. Like I look back and I thought to myself, I don't regret any of the favors I've done or the time I've spent on people where you haven't gotten much back. I don't think I did it for that. And to piggyback that comment, when you're in a position where you're giving, part of giving is like being a good listener. Like what's really underrated is people that can really listen and be affected by what you're saying. That's an art that I certainly not learned.
What'd you say?
I try to learn. Exactly. Exactly. That's an art that I am very very lacking in, that I work on every day.
Please work on it more.
Oh, dude. I mean, just being like really listening, being affected, being emotionally affected, engaged,
and
laughing.
Not waiting for what you're going to say next.
My
It's
God.
tough, though.
Of course
it's
it
a
is.
beast.
Yeah.
There's a podcast that Lewis Howes does, that the art of listening. And they have literally a professional talk about the art of listening.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's not easy, but it's kind of the whole deal in a way. I think that if we did that, like somebody said, they were talking about how when it's not about being politically correct, it's about being emotionally correct. So when you have a fight with your girlfriend or your boyfriend, what's actually more important is that everybody, no matter who they are, wants to know that their feelings are being validated. Problem with political debates is when the gun control people start talking to the gun nuts.
Yeah.
The first thing that's going on is that the gun nuts go, those gun control people don't like me. That's the message they're getting.
Yeah.
Those fucking liberals don't like me. Fuck those guys.
So then they fire back.
It's back.
Emotional.
Instead of saying, hey, I can understand why you hold. I always say, if you want to talk to a guy who likes his guns, you've got to acknowledge the fact that most people own guns. Not because they like to shoot guns or kill people. It's because it's the best way they know how to protect what they love. They like having a gun in the house.
Yeah,
it makes them feel powerful.
For sure, and they're a bunch of pussies and can't fight. But no,
hey,
for sure,
man, what the hell?
You know how many guns I've owned in my lifetime? 0.
Listen, fighting with your hands was very relevant before they invented swords. The point is, a weapon does the job. I'll shoot you from a distance.
You don't have a gun.
I have
You have a musket. I can see you with a musket.
I have a Mossberg pistol grip shotgun, and I have a 380. A Beretta,
Thank God, man.
Beretta 380 that they don't make anymore.
That makes sense because in Calabasas things get rough, man.
Dude,
you never know.
If they come over my gate, I'm waiting. You know why I bought guns? When I first moved here 20 years ago. Nope, 20 years ago. I didn't know Rogan. 20 years ago, when the LA riots happened, I think I came the year later, and I was like, I gotta have guns. I can't live in LA without guns. So I went and bought I said, what's a good home protection unit? And he goes, get yourself a pistol grip, Mossberg shotgun, 20 gauge, scatter gun, and get yourself a small handgun you can maneuver. I was like, I'll take that Beretta. And that's why I have guns, because I'm an idiot.
Because the LA riots.
Shot him exactly 0 times.
Hopefully you don't ever have to use them.
Yeah, exactly.
And guess what? Moving to Calabasas, you should be fine.
Yeah, I think so.
And when you were in Brentwood, you were fine.
Unless I'm in the purge. If I'm stuck out in the purge.
It's true, in the purge. Let's get to this Rashad interview. My boy, the Ultimate Fighter 10 coach, the world champion, my brother from another mother. It's Rashad Sugar Evans.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're here with Sugar Rashad Evans, a man who should probably be acting.
Yeah?
But he happens to have the physical constitution that allows him to get into a cage, fight people. Let's just talk for a second, my friend, about why you do this, and do you like fighting? You were this great. We were just talking about, Brett and I were just talking about how MMA may be for no one. It may be for no one.
You know, every single time I fight, I always ask myself that question. It's not during training camp because I can just do that, but it's the last week of right before the fight, and I'm thinking like in my hotel room, and everybody's like, Rashad, you're gonna kick his ass, and I'm like, man, why do I do this? Like, why? I'm like, is it worth it? And then it's always like I get in different phases. I get in different sets of nervousness. Like I'm nervous when I get there, and then I get used to being there. I'm like, okay, I'm cool. Yeah. And then it gets the weigh-ins, and I'm like, okay, I'm nervous now. Now I'm cool. And then it's fight day, and I'm nervous now, and then I'm cool. But when I walk out, it's like, oh, might as well go for it.
Here goes.
But there's always that one guy I see, like right before I go out, and he's like, yeah, and he's spilling the beer, and it's going all over. Yeah, it's going down his hand, and he's look like he's having the time of his life, and he's high-fiving his buddies, and I'm like, I want to be you right now.
I always get a sense that the fans have like blood in their mouths. They're like eating like raw meat.
What I tell you before I was fighting Orlovsky, he asked me literally like hours before the fight. He texted me, "How you doing? Is there a worse question?
I was with you.
How you doing, bro?" And I put, "I'm fucking terrified."
Yeah, you know what? I mean, it's like, damn, man. Like you don't want to say that though. You don't want to say.
You don't give it away.
No,
you always look calm.
Because you always got to ride that roller coaster. It's an emotional roller coaster, and you always got to be able to just stick it out and be like, you know what, no matter what, the inner me, the one who really, really likes this crazy shit, is going to prevail.
The competitive side.
Yes, and that's part of why, like, when people win, they act so crazy, and you're like you're like higher than any high because you've battled yourself, and that's where the true fight is.
Nothing like it.
There's nothing like that feeling. It's a high that you can't get anywhere, and it's so addicting, and that's why fighters, they fight long after they really physically can, is because they're just so addicted to that high.
Well, it's such an extreme way to live, right?
It is an extreme way to live, but being away from the sport for 2 years, I feel like I need it. Like I feel like my life has been out of order because I've been out of the sport for so long, because for the last 13 years, my life has been regimented on the fact that I go and I train for a fight, and then I'm super, super strict in my life, and then I have a little bit of time to relax and live like a normal person, and then I'm super strict again. But now it's just been like, what do you want to do?
And why is that? Why the 2 years off? It wasn't your choice, right? It was injuries.
No, yeah, because I got this ACL injury. I had back-to-back knee surgeries. Yeah, so the first.
What monsters are you training with?
Take your pants off. Let me take your pants off.
If I take my pants off, it's going to get dark in here.
If I take my pants off, it's going to get dark in here.
Super dark.
That's the quote.
Super dark.
That is the quote right there.
No, I mean,
he's a big dick bandit. I'm sure I'm gonna throw that out there straight up. He might be the captain of the team.
Right?
Yeah, no, bro. When we were wrestling, I was like, God damn, dude, I don't like this north south.
Rashad, wear a cup.
Yeah, everyone's like, he's like, I can't. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, he just puts you in he breaks your spirit
straight up,
just with his dick.
Will is just broken.
You want to fight me? Check this out. Fuck this.
No, back to you though. Why the 2 years off? So ACL.
The ACL surgery. So I had a cadaver, and they have different grafts that you can do. You can do a cadaver, you can do your hamstring, and you can do your patellar tendon. Now your patellar tendon is what most athletes get because it's your own body, and it actually heals the best. But a cadaver, it actually heals faster. So when I
so just to explain to the audience,
so the cadaver
you're taking a cadaver, like the tendon from a dead person from a cadaver.
Yeah, I took the Achilles tendon of a dead person.
Wow.
And I put it in my knee. And the fucked up story is when I was gonna do the surgery, I was like, you know, Doc, I'm gonna get a cadaver, and he's like, okay, well, you're in luck because I just have a 17-year-old who just passed away and died in a car accident. And I'm just like, dude, like I didn't
tell me this.
Yeah, I didn't want. I'm like, oh, it was heavy, man. It was heavy.
Damn,
it was heavy to tell me.
I'm an organ donor too. I wonder if they'd be like, I got a 48. He's an actor. He was a marginal high school.
I'll wait.
Yeah, he was a high school
give me
wrestler.
Another one. Give me another. I don't want that one.
So then you got that done and went back to training too fast?
No, I went back to training, and I actually I took my time training, going back to training, and I was scheduled to fight Glover Teixeira. And everything was going great. Everything was going great. I was helping Anthony get ready for Gustafsson, and I was feeling like my old self again, and I was doing a little bit of shadow boxing with Vitor, and I just moved laterally, and it just snapped, and I'm like, it's such a weird feeling when it happens. I just felt like my knee just slipped, and I'm like, oh my gosh, my knee slipped. So then I got an MRI, and then they said, yeah, it's gone. So I was like, man, I can't miss another fight. So I was gonna just tape it up as much as I can and do the fight anyway. So that's what I did. I was gonna do the fight without it, and then it just so happened that Glover ended up hurting his knee. So then the fight was canceled. So then I was like, you know what? The fight's canceled. I might as well just get another surgery. So I got the surgery, and I did a patellar tendon graft, and now I'm 3 months post-op.
Man,
and you feel good?
I feel good. It feels actually different than it did the first time. And, it just feels like it's starting to feel more and more like my knee. One day I wake up, and I'm like, wow, it feels a lot better. It feels like how it used to,
Right.
And it's been in a state for so long. I kind of forget how it originally felt, but now it's starting to feel like I can do more with it. Like I can,
For
get-
sure, wear knee braces. Be that guy
yeah.
in the gym
Oh
with knee
yeah,
braces.
dude.
Double knee braces.
I'm gonna tell you right now, when I get back to training again, I'm gonna be like that old.
You
dude
look like
that
Mark
caught-
Coleman.
Yes,
You look like
I'm-
Mark Coleman.
yeah. I'm gonna be in bubble wrap. I'm like knee brace here, knee brace
Bubble
here.
wrap. No, but it is. They always say that your head and your knees are just not made for combat sports. I mean, that's the
No,
bottom line.
but the thing about it is, I was training and doing combat sports for 26 years. Wrestling and playing football.
Oh, you
my
play
whole
football
life.
too?
Yeah,
Okay.
and I never had any problems with anything. There was never an issue with anything. And then now this like
Do you think it is age?
Time,
or
bro.
just all the
I don't,
training?
the way it happened originally happened. Somebody just felt like I was throwing them in the lateral throw, and they're not a wrestler, so they did like some weird goofy shit, and they just kind of cracked down on my leg, and it just snapped, and I knew right away when it happened something serious happened. So
You might
had
be the
not that
only-
happened, I don't know how long my knees would have lasted, but something weird, unfortunate happened, and then now I'm just paying the consequence of just.
because you've never been a guy that gets injured. Really.
No,
ever.
I was
ever.
never getting injured.
You also
like
didn't take a lot of. I never really saw you get punched full in the face as
Well,
a fighter. I mean,
I got punched one time, and I got beat up one time when I fought Machida. That's the most punishment I ever
yes,
taken in
that's
my
right.
fight.
That's right. That's
But that's the only punishment I've taken. I've taken more punishment in practice than I have in a
sure.
fight. And I think that's one thing that happened. Like when it comes to training for mixed martial arts, and you see it right now, everybody's getting hurt. But now it's just a total. You got to revamp how you're training. You know what I'm saying? And
You don't think it's part of the sport?
it is part of the sport, but we're so old school. Remember how Greg used to train us? Like it was just like if you could survive training, it was. You know what kind of
You
reminded
got
me
to
of?
the fight, you're like, oh,
Yeah,
thank God.
yeah.
Thank God, man.
Really?
What?
It was kind of like how Ricky Bobby's dad taught him how to race.
Well, by the way, back then, because I remember seeing a.
No, let him
all your
finish.
guys. Yeah.
You're talking about Ricky Bobby when he has the Bobcat in
Bobcat
the car?
car, yeah.
yeah.
Well, if you can survive a mountain lion, you can survive a fight. It's
Straight up,
straight,
man.
like we'll run this mountain. He's like, well, if you can survive the mountain, then you can beat this guy in a fight. And we'll do stuff like we're doing buddy carries, and we're 12,000 feet up on the edge of a cliff on the most treacherous ground you can ever walk on, and we have maybe 3 feet of space before you fall to your death. if you
Dead.
make it.
Damn.
Dead.
And I'm holding someone
Damn.
like this where I can't even see what's in front of me. So
And
I'm
he's
like,
exhausted.
and he's exhausted. So I'm just kind of feeling with my feet, and I'm just like,
Whoa.
every 60 steps we had to switch, and he had to pick me up. And that is after we like ran up there and just
Yeah,
like
man.
we're completely exhausted. I'm like, I'm gonna die doing this shit.
You know what's crazy, though?
That's
I miss
so
those
weird.
days.
I know, me
How
too.
weird
me
is
too.
that?
It's crazy. It's crazy. But that's how it was. It was that kind of training where it's like, the more punishment you put on yourself now, the less when you get in a fight, the punishment is gonna be. But that was a thinking. I think now we need to have a revamp and a thinking.
Because you think maybe that was overtraining? I mean, or do you think? Because I was thinking about as
It's
you
too
were talking
much.
about
Too much,
Jackson.
yeah,
too
too
much.
much.
Give me the names, because when you were training with Jackson, there was Donald Cerrone, there was you were there. You had
Shane
monsters,
Carwin,
Shane
monsters
Carwin, yeah.
in there.
Neymar Card.
Monsters.
When I first started there, it was Nate Marquardt, Keith Jardine, Mike Van Arsdale,
That's the original. Crew.
yeah, Joey Villasenor, and was
Leonard
Ali,
Garcia?
yeah, Garcia, yep.
And when you guys were sparring, forget the running along a cliff, which is dangerous enough. You guys were getting in there and really banging. I mean, you guys
Oh
were.
my
Oh,
goodness,
man.
yeah, and that's one thing. Like I see Keith Jardine, he's been knocked out a bit, but he's had his best fights in the gym. Like that guy can scrap, and he was one of those guys who just like we wouldn't wear headgear. We just go out there and just be like we'll go.
He would jump in no headgear with Shane Carwin.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And just go at it.
Just go.
And now he's a coffee mogul. And now he's a coffee mogul.
Yeah, he's killing with the coffee.
It,
But it just goes to show, like, the intelligence of training has got to change, and I think it's kind of slowly starting to become a little bit more scientific. And when I start training again, like, I'm gonna do a lot more like spar matches and stuff like that, and just a lot of drilling.
You have a lot of access to guys who are in other professional sports, so you can set like a blueprint.
Right.
'Cause I mean, you got those guys in Florida. I see with Javon Kirsch, Ray Lewis, whoever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you talk to those guys. I'm sure they can give you some tips on how they, especially those guys long into their career, can help you
especially
out.
Ray, because Ray I never met a person who is so regimented about what they do as far as from a training aspect.
Ray Lewis?
Ray Lewis would train all day long, but it was just so perfectly planned out, and it was like the rest in between was perfectly planned out. One day I was training Ray, I was like, Ray, I can't do this.
Straight up.
Yeah, I just had, you know how humbling that is. Like Ray's, he's like, oh man, Schaub, oh man, it'll change your life. It'll change your life. Oh man, come on, we got to get on these bikes. Oh man,
he might be the best.
I'm gonna tell you right now. If you want to be the best, you got to get it today, because you don't get to be the best when it come on Saturdays and Sundays on my time. We got to get it today. If you want to be the best, we got to get it. Come on, baby, let's go.
That's
and
a
you were
great
straight up
Ray
like,
Lewis
I can't do it.
I'm like,
I can't do it. Like, this is too much.
I just want to eat lunch. I just want to go home.
Then I remember I was getting ready for a fight and flew out to Florida to train with you, and I almost felt like telling you, I can't do it.
Wow.
It was too much.
Wow.
We were out in the sun. They had me tossing these balls.
I watched you and Bernard Hopkins, and he was talking to you about boxing.
Yes.
And I love that video. And you looked like you were, I don't know if you were getting ready for a fight. You couldn't have looked more muscular. And
well, I mean, that's how I am, right? If I take off my
He woke up like that.
Just that caramel skin.
It's so smooth.
And I remember saying, I was like, he looks ridiculously muscular. You couldn't have been in better shape. And there he was, Bernard Hopkins, for my money, my favorite boxer maybe of all time. And he was talking to you about, he was kind of giving you pointers on how he works.
Yeah.
Your face was interesting because you were obviously very respectful and listening. But I got a sense that what he was talking about was pure boxing, and it didn't really. I just felt like, and correct me if I'm wrong.
No, for sure, critique.
No, I'm not. But
critique Bernard Hopkins boxing.
No, God.
Do that.
God.
Do that, Brian.
No, what was your thinking when he was doing that to you? Were you just listening, or did it have relevance to what you were about to go do?
Well, he was talking about doing a dart, and doing the dart is something you can do. Eddie Alvarez does it really well, but with that, it takes more timing than what I've been able to give to it. You know, it takes that's a move you perfect. You know what I'm saying? Because I was going against Tito Ortiz at the time, and the last thing I wanted to do was do a dart, because that gives leverage and that gives too much commitment on the punch, which gives him an easy takedown if he's able to time it.
And
right.
how long before a fight was this advice given?
It was like
2 days
the next
before.
day.
That's what I thought.
Do that? All right. Yeah. Oh no, I fight tonight. Cool, man.
That's
do it
what
now.
I mean. Is I got a sense that it wasn't relevant to you at the moment.
No, it
'cause
wasn't. It
as
wasn't.
much as you appreciate it, it's like that's great, but I don't have a year to work on.
Yeah,
that.
that's exactly it. I mean, that's the move that he perfected, but to even break it down, I would have to just get my movement for it and my timing for it. And it's just like,
did you ever move around with him? Did you ever box with him?
No, I never did. I never did. Only person I really moved around with was Roy Jones Jr.
Really?
Yeah, he came out to help me when.
He's in Florida, right?
Yeah, he's in Florida. He's
what
in
was
Pensacola.
that like?
It was amazing. You know, Ray was like, see, what you need to do is when you got him, you got to put him on your time. See, you got him on your time. You got to fake right here, and then you pull back. When he draw back, that's how you know you got him in trouble. See, watch him right here. See, watch him right here. You see him right here? It's right there. See, get the right hand right there. You drop him. He's on your time. What? Your time.
What?
Your time. Your time. Dude, I'm stealing all this. He was on your time. Thanks. Don't know what that means. You've been boxing since you were 7. Thank you so much.
I'll tell you what, we talked about it a little before, but I miss those days in Denver, man. When
oh my goodness.
I mean, the gym was swamped with.
Yes.
I mean, Jardine,
Killers.
GSP, Carwin, you, Elliot Marshall, our boy Cody Donovan.
Yeah.
Who our boy Cody Donovan, there'd be cameras in there, and he would just be trying to go beast mode on Rashad. He'd go the countdown crew would be there.
Oh my
He'd be
gosh.
warmed up 20 minutes before.
He's all ass and legs.
Dude,
That
he
kid.
was like a practice hero for no reason. Like he,
He's gonna hate us.
Like he was trying to save the day or something. Like I was
like Dana would be like, "Here's a great
Save
job.
the day."
Here's a UFC contract, Cody."
Yeah, I was like, what? Like Like, because any other day, like you just like whoop the hell out of him, right?
Yeah.
You know, but he was a good go, right? But
Yeah.
you know, you can whoop him. But that day when the cameras came,
he came alive.
and it's like, why? But
It's my countdown.
Yeah,
dog.
But it's like if
yeah.
there's a beautiful woman, like who nobody knows, like she's just up for grabs and she's just hanging around the gym. All of a sudden, everybody starts trying to swing for the fence.
Yes, and that's how he. But here's the worst part about it was he wouldn't even acknowledge what he's doing. like I'm like, all right, what are you doing, bro? What are you talking about?
Just trying to
What
get
do
you better.
mean? What I'm talking about? You just took a double from the other side of the cage and then stopped until you grab my legs. Like, why? Just like we're going light.
Take
Remember,
it
like
easy.
before, like we're gonna go light.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about, bro. I'm like, what?
Come on, man.
Good old
The
Cody.
the theme too, especially in MMA now, is these super gyms.
Yeah.
You come from Jackson's. I've had my share with Jackson's. Grudge. Now you're at the Black Zillions. What makes the Black Zillions different than these super teams? Greg's never broke up. The original
Right.
team kind of separated their
Yeah.
ways. Grudge obviously broke up. You see these other teams kind of breaking up. What do you think at the Black Zillions?
You know,
I mean, because you guys have had your share of problems when you brought
Yeah.
in Overeem, right?
we did. You know, when we first started out, you know, we're only 4.5 years old, so we thought that there's a lot of growing pains.
Mm.
And when working with fighters, as you know, it is one of the most complex things.
Especially
Fighters-
famous ones.
Why is
Yeah.
that? Why is that?
fighters got they sometimes they have like
Sensitive?
they're very sensitive. Sometimes they have different egos. They just got a lot of different temperament issues, and sometimes it doesn't always gel together. You know, there's a reason why people fight.
All that head
know,
trauma
yeah,
in
'cause
one
it-
room.
I mean, yeah, there's a reason why people fight. You know, because
Yeah.
some they're a little off. Some of these guys are a little off. You know, so trying to find the right chemistry to make everybody work is a hard thing. So we've experienced our up and downs trying to find the right elements, and some guys didn't work as far as even from a coaching standpoint. You know, we had some coaches that didn't really fit the mold really well. Some, you know, because coaches that get too dominant. But when you have a sport like mixed martial arts, you can't have one coach feeling like his discipline dominates the rest of them.
Oh,
You know, and that's what happens a lot of times. You have a coach
And
who,
to be honest, it's usually wrestling coaches for whatever reason.
no,
they're very like
that's
it's just
it.
wrestling's
Yeah.
like
Really?
bulldozer through my
Yeah.
way, the highway.
Wow.
We're gonna run you into the ground.
As opposed
from my
to- that
experience,
makes
it's always
sense.
been wrestling.
Yeah,
Not
I mean-
that it's a problem.
No, but even I experienced it from a strikers too. Striking coaches, they don't like. They feel a certain way if you train with another striker coach. Say if you got a boxing coach, and he's like, well, you know, he's a boxing coach, but then you got a kick too, so you got a kickboxing coach, and then those two will kind of be like
and
at odds with each
Yeah.
other. You know, that can happen.
a lot of
but-
gossip that goes on.
A lot because you know, when a fighter that wins a certain way and he's have a high notoriety, the fighter the coach who taught that discipline can be like, you know, they're winning because of stuff I teach them. You know, and I'm saying, so it's just managing all the different personalities inside the gym. But I think ultimately what makes a gym stay together is the simple fact that you do have those blow-ups, but then you talk about it. There's not that.
You need a leader though to moderate that.
You're
don't
right.
You?
You need
Which
a
is
leader.
this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say the reason why you guys do well is because of you. You've been there.
Oh, thank you, man.
Most
yeah,
guys
I
haven't,
have.
you know what I'm saying?
I've been on a lot of different teams. You know, I've been a part of Grudge, Jackson's, and stuff like that. So I know when I'm feeling a breakdown. I know when somebody's like, you know what, I want to get the hell out of here because A, B, and C, and it's kind of just always a constant bringing everybody back together. Like, okay, listen, you know, always problem solving. You know,
Do you think that you're going to be in the fight game the rest of your life?
I think so, and I think it's something I want to be
Like
in
a
because,
coach, like a
yeah,
gym owner?
Yeah,
You want to be a coach?
I don't know if I want to be a coach, like meaning that my living is derived from coaching, but
yeah. Good luck with that.
yeah, that'll
That's a
never happen.
beast,
Yeah,
man.
but I mean, I think I would like to be in fighters' lives to be able to have that influential experience to be able to help them get to where they want to go. You know what I'm
Who
saying?
owns Black Zillions? Who owns that gym? Who owns that?
Glenn
whole-
Robinson.
Okay.
Glenn
That's your
Robinson
manager
owns it.
too,
Yeah, that's my
right?
manager.
Yeah.
Yep.
But when I think of Black Zillions, I do think about you. I think you're kind of the figurehead.
Him and Vitor.
Yeah. Me and
Right?
V-
Oh, and
yeah,
Vitor. Okay, Vitor. Yeah.
But when the Black Zines were built, it was right when I was going through, you know, the whole thing with John Jones and everything else like that. So then it had this notoriety because who was this team that Rashad Evans training with and everything?
Because
so,
you left Albuquerque for Florida in the Black
Right.
Zones because John was in Albuquerque and you guys were going to fight each
yeah,
other.
we're gonna
right?
fight each other. Yeah,
Was that what it was?
yeah. So me and John were going to fight each other, and we kind of decided we went our own ways. And then Greg chose John, and I was like, you know what?
You guys were
FU,
pretty close, you and John? Or he's younger.
We were getting there. You know, we were getting there.
He was new to the team.
Yeah,
though.
he was new to the team, but we had a really good working relationship. John is one of my favorite training partners to train with.
Wow.
When it comes to just training, he's really fun to train with.
You said something so funny to me. I don't know why I thought it was interesting. You literally they were like, Rashad, they were interviewing after the fight, and you went, yeah, you know, I had a little trouble dealing with this. He had some of those sneaky elbows, and you were like talking real calm. It was like you were almost like at a coffee shop. It was like the dude just had a fight, 5-round fight, and you were like, yeah, he had some.
Are you and Greg still cool?
Yeah, we're cool. We're cool.
What
we're cool now.
Is John Jones to you, looking back at it now? Every time I talk to anybody who fought him, he just seems like such a prodigy. He's so creative.
He's very creative. John is I think one of the best. You know, if his career ends today, he's probably one of the best to do it. You know, and that's just being 100% honest. You know, the things that he's able to do inside the cage, the poise and everything else to pull it off. And the best thing that John does is that he has a way of finding out what you're going to do, but then using your game plan against you. And he does that so
GSP
very
did
well.
that a lot, really well, right?
So here's a question for you, Rashad. Who's going to beat him?
I think Anthony can beat him.
You think?
I think so. And I think
I disagree.
If John doesn't fight the fight that he should fight, then if he finds himself trying to exchange too much, then he's definitely going to get caught.
I agree.
He's definitely get caught, and Anthony has that power. You know what I'm saying?
Probably the most powerful guy at 205.
He's definitely got the most power at 205.
And you've trained with Anthony.
I train with Anthony all the time.
Anthony trains at Black Zone.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
Anthony just
Not fun, by
Anthony
the way.
leaves.
Not fun to wake up.
Nobody
and go,
wants to spar Anthony.
Who wants to? Yeah.
Nobody wants to spar him. Like I mean, he's a good training partner, but he knocks people out in the gym.
When I did this movie Warrior with him, and he was one of the fighters in the movie. And I spent, I don't know, maybe 6 weeks with him. One of the things I noticed is, first of all, he's got the biggest head on the planet. You could fit.
He's a good size
You could fit 2 of your dude. And I remember he was walking. He was going to fight at 170, and I can't remember who he was going to fight. And he was walking around at 235.
Easy.
It was the craziest.
Yeah.
thing.
Those were that's the old Anthony.
That's
though.
old Anthony.
That was stupid Anthony.
But Anthony's still like that now. Anthony be like,
Didn't have any fat on him.
Anthony be like 250, 260.
What?
And you always you ask Anthony, like, Anthony, how much you weigh? Oh, I'm about like 235. Like,
Yeah,
you
kind
are
of
not
bullshit.
235.
Bullshit.
Liar.
Big dude.
Yeah, he's always 235 or 240, pushing 260.
Where do you think? I was thinking about this. The UFC's biggest challenge is trying to figure out a way to keep growing.
Mm-hmm.
And I always get the sense, and I think I haven't looked at their profit margins or anything, but I get the sense that they have to be careful that sometimes, man, it's hard to keep a sport dynamic, and I don't know why, but I always feel like MMA sometimes has it's easy to plateau because you get two guys who are training in boxing, and they're sort of more orthodox. They come in. What do you think MMA is going to look like in 10, 15 years? Is there any way to kind of make that, I don't know.
I think that it right now we're in a growing phase, and with this growing phase, we're just trying to really swamp MMA out there and put it in everybody's minds, and really just trying to make people have this connection with MMA.
You think
That's
still
why-
in America?
In America,
Yeah.
I mean, right now it's a bit of an oversaturation. It's on all the time,
That's what I mean.
and I think that without it having a season, it makes it really hard to keep up, and it's just on a lot. But I think that there's a madness, there's a method behind the madness, and I think that at some point it's going to even off where they kind of pull back on the shows a little bit,
Right.
and give and give the build up, because that's what it's about more than anything.
It
It's
is.
about
People want to be invested, man.
Yeah.
Emotionally,
They wanna-
like, you want to know.
Well, they
who you're-
want to care about the fight.
they want to care about the fighters, and right now we're going through our growing phase, and right now we're figuring out a lot. We're
Yeah.
figuring out a lot, like where is our place, where is how do we make these people care? Right now we're trying to do our best to have seasons. Right now, like when you see the hashtag, it's time or welcome to the show.
But it's always time, isn't it?
No.
They make sense.
No, well, they're using the hashtags now to represent like
Seasons?
a season. Yeah, so like the hashtag is the next one is welcome to the show. So welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Hashtag here we go. It's
Yeah,
like, well,
yeah, that's what
here
I'm
we
saying.
go. Like that's
But
every
so,
fight.
so, so,
Hashtag.
so, but they're
Hashtag come up with something else.
but I mean that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to find a way to keep it so that it stays relevant and it
Yeah.
stays.
People tune in, though, in my opinion, especially with fighters. They tune in to watch that specific individual they feel they have an emotional connection to.
100%
Or care about.
100%.
They have to care about
Yeah.
that.
Or
fighter.
hate.
Or hate.
One
As
of the
long as
things-
they're cheering or booing, you're good.
One of the things that Conor McGregor did so well is just, I mean, when you have some guy predicting when he's going to knock you out.
I know. It's
This
genius.
is the kind of all of us guys who aren't fighters go. This is. I can't wait for this Jose Aldo, the guy who hasn't lost in 7 years or whatever. It's unbelievable.
I mean, you want to see it, and I hope for his sake.
Yeah,
I
right.
hope
Otherwise,
for
it
his
looks
sake.
so
oh
bad.
my gosh,
So bad.
I hope-
That's the risk, though.
I know.
That's what
but,
we love.
I mean, that's whew,
I know.
I would hate
If he
to
gets
wear that.
annihilated in like the first
I would
round,
hate to wear that hat of shame that he would have to wear.
Well, it's like Muhammad Ali when he was fighting Joe Frazier. He's going, "You can't hurt me. I'm God. I'm God." And Joe Frazier, when he beat him, Joe Frazier said, "Well, God's taking an ass whooping tonight."
Yeah.
Boom, 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 and
But
he won that
Muhammad
fight.
Ali was decorated when he fought him. Then you know what I'm saying?
No question. No
Yeah.
question. But
Conor really, and I'm a Conor fan. Before Conor came on the show, before I sat down and had lunch with him, stuff like that, I was like, who is this dude? I hope he gets murked.
Yeah.
And then sat down with him. He's a genuinely good dude.
He's a good dude.
Yeah, great guy.
I got an experience with him on the show when he came on the show. He was all right. I mean, he's cocky and whatnot, but he's I don't know. He kind of was like kind of bossed up to me a little bit, and
Really?
I was smacking.
I
your
will
lap.
smack the shit
that's
out of
the
your,
problem.
out of your
He's
Irish
still
ass.
140 pounder.
That's
He's not
what I'm
gonna
saying. You're
He's not
100
listening. He's not
like-
lasting one round with Rashad Evans. There's no question
Come
about
on,
that.
he's little,
Come on.
Like,
He's little. Do you consider yourself? This is a question. I always say to Brendan, I think you're an athlete who fights, and a lot of fighters, like you said, tend to have something they're working out,
right.
and there are fighters like Nick Diaz, and I consider Nick Diaz a fighter first and an athlete second.
Yeah.
And I love that guy. Do you look at yourself as a fighter or an athlete who fights or a hybrid of the two?
Because Rashad's a really good athlete.
Yeah.
I'm
Really
more
And
of a-
well adjusted, by the way. I mean, in other words, very
I'm not-
personable.
I mean,
and-
slightly punchy. You're
yeah,
good, though.
a little
You're
bit.
good.
I slur a little bit. once in a while. I got my moments.
Haven't seen it.
But I feel like I kind of balance it out, But at the same time, I feel like I am more of a fighter because the reasons why I fight. Growing
What
up
are they?
growing up the way I grew up. I didn't have much growing up, and I think that is my main drive because I don't in my mind I'm like I don't want to return to that. I don't want to return.
You don't want to return to poverty or
being
humiliation.
poverty, being poor, just not having anything. It's the worst thing in life is to not have anything and just
Powerless.
yes, and that's something I never want to return to.
You came from a big family, small family?
Big family, and there's 9 of us all together.
Wow.
My mother had 7. I have 2 half siblings, but
You grew up where?
Niagara Falls, New York.
And yet you went to college and you became
Yeah.
a decorated wrestler.
Yes, and it's funny because I was like the worst in my class graduating high school. It was so funny when I went to go to the counselor and say I want to go to college. She was like,
Not for you.
How do we
yeah,
say this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sir,
Sir.
maybe you should just go to a trade school.
That's it.
So I ended up going to Niagara Community College for a while, and then I graduated from there, and then I went to Michigan State.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's kind of crazy the way things worked out, but it was just that drive that I had inside of me because whenever somebody said I can't do something, I always want to do it. So that's the mentality that I have, and I feel like that's the fighter inside of me.
But when did you decide to become a fighter? Like, it's one thing to be a wrestler, and that D1 program is a motherfucker.
Yeah.
But then you go, you know what? I want to start punching people in the face as well. And then you knock out, one of the most
Chuck Liddell.
I mean,
down
one of the
the
most
road.
decorated badasses on the planet, which must have been surreal for you. I remember
It was,
watching
yeah.
your face falling back and you're
Like his
doing
heart.
that thing with your hand.
Yeah.
Like my heart's beating
I'm
so
coming
fast.
to join you. This is a big one, Elizabeth. That's the
Oh,
Fred G.
beautiful.
That is the Fred G. Sanford. See, people don't know about Fred. You ever watch Sanford and Son?
Sure I do.
Yeah, that's what Fred do. Every single time something crazy happened, he'd be like, "This is a big one, Elizabeth. I'm coming to join you. This is it. I'm coming to join you."
That's a good. That's a
Legit,
good
huh?
oh,
I remember you told me after you won the world championship, after you beat Chuck Liddell, you said to me, I thought it would be different.
Yeah.
You were happy.
Yeah.
You were just like, I was sitting with the belt in the locker room. You're like, Schaub, I thought it would be different. I felt the same.
Yeah, I didn't feel it.
Isn't that funny?
It was the weirdest feeling because I thought it'd be like, I don't know, I see people dropped on the floor, they're crying and carrying on and stuff like that. And I'm always like, all right, well, when this happened, I'm going to have like this profound feeling. But I was happy, but it was just felt like I just won another fight.
You hear that all the time. You hear when people get to the top of the mountain, that sometimes it's really hard to manage that because they've been working so hard and scraping and crawling. They get there, and it's called a catastrophe of success. Because what happens is you realize you were built to struggle.
There's something.
Right? You were built to struggle.
Right.
When the struggle's taken away and you're at the top, now you got to figure out what to do with yourself. Now it's hard to stay at the top, of course.
This is it.
Yeah.
This
See
is
why I
it.
hang out with him?
Hey, this is
See why I
it.
hang out with him?
It's very hard to stay at the top, and managing that success and managing all the things that come with it is very, very difficult. My buddy made $1 billion, not $1 million, but $1 billion. 1 billion seconds is almost 33 years. Gives you an idea how much money he made. And I said, "What's it feel like?" And he said, "Exactly the same. I got bigger. I got a bigger house, and the walls are farther away from me, and but I still gotta manage my relationships and gravity. And guess what? I feel exactly the same, man. And now I got to figure out what to do with my time. Once that was taken away, right? So that's what I'm always fascinated with.
Yeah.
Is how do you deal with it when you get everything you've been working
You
for?
warned me too, Rashad. I'll never forget this. I think it was right when I came off the Ultimate Fighter. So everyone knew I was in the finale. Obviously, you were my coach. You knew I was in the finale. We were training, and I was having problems with my girl. I remember talking to you. You're like, wait till the show comes out. Wait till you get more famous.
Yeah.
Wait till you get famous. You're like, it's gonna be tough, man. I'm telling you.
Talk
it's gonna
about
be tough.
that.
And I remember being like, nah, I love her. It's gonna go great. As soon as I got famous, see ya.
It was gone.
See ya,
It was
gone. It was just.
And
It's
you're a
gone.
good guy, and you care
I'm a
about
great
people's
guy.
feelings. But what happened?
My career.
Yeah.
My career.
Yeah.
Juggling that, I wasn't good at juggling. All I was focused on was I was married to the UFC, and she's a bitch.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what it is, though. Like when you get to the level, or when you got that UFC in front of you, and you're so focused on wanting to be a champion and stuff like that, it's like the only thing that exists. And when you're in a serious, committed relationship, the woman always wants more, and she always wants to know that she's more important than.
Mm.
And even if you just give it to her like an illusion, she still wants that illusion.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? And that's one thing that was hard for me to do when I was married, is just give that illusion. I was so committed to always wanting to do more, because I thought, like, man, any minute now this is gonna be over. This ride is gonna be over any minute now. So I want to get as far down the street as I can before the ride is over. And I seized every opportunity that I could, but it ended up just driving me further apart from her.
Well, the thing is that, and I think you'd agree, I would imagine winning a belt and just trying to stay competitive in this sport and in anything in life, but especially in MMA, really does take everything. It just
really
takes all of you.
It does, and it does, because, like, in a sport like MMA, you're only as good as your last fight. You're only as good as your last, and it's so unforgiving in that. There's no in between in it. So if you lose your fight, guess what? You suck.
And you get half your pay.
Yeah. You suck
it's
until the
so
next
brutal.
time you fight again.
Yeah.
And then when you fight, you do an amazing job. Oh, my God, you're back.
Yeah.
You're back. You're going to be the greatest. You're going to be champion again. And then, but the hard part is not buying into it either or, when it goes up and when it goes down. And that's the real mind. That's the real hard part. That's really to get your.
I talked to Nate Marquardt about that. I said, when he was starting to get a lot of attention, I said, bro, take it from me. I'm just an actor, but I'll tell you something. I know a little bit about performance psychology. Don't read the good stuff. Don't read the bad stuff.
Yeah.
Don't read any of it. Don't listen to what people are saying. Don't listen to the fans, because they're going to tell you you're great at one thing and you're going to try to aim for that. Just try to keep that noise.
That's after he beat Woodley. Wasn't it? Because
actually,
they were telling
yes,
me
it
he's like a
was.
knockout
It was
artist.
after Woodley.
And he wasn't like working on
He
wrestling
was
jiu-jitsu,
killing
I
it.
remember.
He was
Yeah.
the Strikeforce champ, and I said, just try not to listen to that noise.
It's hard, man. Like I watch a show, and when I seen the episode where Joe Rogan had the thing to say about you,
Mhm.
I was like, I almost had to turn it off, because it was just so uncomfortable for me to watch.
How do you think I felt? I was
It was
I was like,
uncomfortable for me to watch,
"Mm."
because I didn't necessarily agree with that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't necessarily agree with that. I was just like, I know he had some tough fights and tough
Yeah.
losses, but like, it's hard to be like, it's, tell somebody that, like, it's over. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
especially a fighter.
I know, because the fighter's usually the last to know, like, when it's over. And
Unfortunately.
I hope that when my time is over, I never have to have somebody say something to me, like some uncomfortable shit like that to me.
Don't
But-
go on Rogan's show then.
No, hey, Rogan was cutthroat. I'm like, Rogan
Because he
is-
cared about him.
Yeah, he's raw though, man. But I mean,
he's super raw. But yeah, his thing though.
You're pretty raw with yourself though, so I know you could.
You know why I didn't say a word? You know why I didn't say a word? Because I didn't want to cry. Straight up.
For real?
I was like, I felt like if I would say, I'm like, you know what, man? And just tears would start coming down. So I was like this.
I would have been holding you on my chest. There.
I just kept going, oh, really?
And how about me?
Really?
I'm doing nothing.
Nothing. And you know what Bryan texted me? I before we go in the studio, I text Bryan, I go, yo, man, I don't want this to be about my fighting career or anything. Bryan goes, come on, you think I'd let that happen to you? No. I got you. Swear to God. I was kicking. I was hitting Bryan under the table.
When there's a fight, and the guy has a fight, I'm like, what happened? I was in the bathroom. I didn't see anything.
I was hitting Bryan under the table like, please say something. Please get me out of here.
I don't know. I was in the bathroom.
But you didn't give any assistance. Not even
man.
Nothing.
You know what it was?
You didn't even give like a Mills Lane. I'm gonna
I
stop
was so
nothing.
I was blindsided because when Rogan said you wanted to do this, I was like, did they talk about this? I go, where was I left out of this? I didn't even know what to do. I was like, oh, I thought we were talking about what the fuck is
whatever
going on
helps
right
you
now?
sleep at night, bud.
Yeah.
Threw me under the bus.
Like, this is not
And then
good.
after he goes, bro, our numbers on our show are great.
He goes. I go, you want to go get something to eat? He goes, nah, I'm gonna go to Chipotle. And he just walked away.
After the show.
I literally was like, oh, see you, friend, ex-friend.
He's thinking about his existence that you let get crushed on.
Dude, that was the worst. And then he goes, run it. Let's just run it. Let's just see where the chips land. I was like, you bad motherfucker.
Yeah, man,
that's the biggest show ever.
That's tough, man. But I mean, you know, that just goes to show how unforgiving this business is, you know, and anything in entertainment for the most part, it's all about what have you done lately. Me, I've been out for almost 2 years, and everybody's like, oh yeah, you're old. He's old, and you know.
How old are you now?
I'm 35, but I feel like I get older every single time they say it. They got a way of saying it. He's old. And I'm like, damn, I'm old. Like
I got a 17-year-old's tendon in my knee. What the fuck?
I don't know, man. I was driving in the Fighters van one time, and I'm like, oh, dude, Fighters, bro, man, I've been watching you ever since I was in high school. And I'm like, fuck.
Like, fuck sakes.
God.
I grew up with you.
Yeah, I'm like, I grew up watching you. I'm like, well, that would be 10 years ago.
Now, it's funny how quickly. Who are your heroes, man? Who do you look up to?
You know what? I don't have that.
Besides me, I mean,
you know, my mom's always been one of those strong figures in my life that I just respected and had a great admiration for. My uncle as well too. My uncle Junebug. Uncle Junebug. Yeah.
Doesn't your mom give you advice for fights?
All the time? My mom gives me so much advice. She does.
What'd
man.
she say?
She turned into like custom model right before fights. She knows everything. She'd be like, Rashad, see, you've been off for a while, right, Rashad? Rashad, what you need to do is you need to come out just different, Rashad. I'm talking about Rashad, Bruce Lee kicks, flying leg kicks, Rashad. They'll never see it coming, Rashad, because that's not how you fight. You got to reinvent yourself, Rashad.
I fucking hate when a fighter comes on the show and he's better at impressions and characters than I am. That's bullshit. Hey, bro. When are you gonna start acting? That's the question.
I need to start doing.
I got contacts.
There. Okay.
So how involved are you? We'll let you go after this, but how involved are you with this season, of The Ultimate Fighter? Obviously, you're here to promote The Ultimate Fighter.
Right. We didn't talk about it.
Real quick before we talk about The Ultimate Fighter, me living in Los Angeles, and I say this to Evan, he's gonna be pissed. Why should I give a shit about two teams fighting in Florida?
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Good question.
Okay.
Rashad, back to you.
All right. Now that's a hard one. Well, actually, this is the first time the season's ever been like this before. It's not like, you know, it's been in Las Vegas where the UFC picked out the guys and everybody's getting to learn each other and gel to each other on the show. These are guys that we handpicked. These are guys that they're in a gym for three or 4 years and we brought up through our system. So there's such a tie to these fighters already. And we're in South Florida. We're separated by American Top Team by 10 to 15 miles. And it's a bit of a rivalry because the owners absolutely hate each other.
Ooh.
Absolutely hate each other.
Were they business partners before something?
Well, here it is. Dan Lambert accuses Glenn Robinson of getting in the business the wrong way, meaning that he pays for his talent. You know, he's accusing him of being
sounds
like
the American way.
Yeah.
Sounds like the way to do it.
He says there's a reason people fight in the UFC and not in the World Series of Fighting. But keep going.
Yeah. So he said, he said there's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it. And he says Glenn Robinson did it the wrong way because not only did he pay for his talent that he accuses, he says that he stole fighters that were from American Top Team and he brought him to the Black Zings, or started the Black Zings with that. And that's George Santiago, Danilo Villafort, Yuri Villafort, and George Santiago.
Mm.
And those are the guys that he said that he stole. And then I came over there, and then thus we created Black Zings, and 4 years later, here we are. But you know, watching the show and being part of the show, you just watch the rivalry grow, because you know, there's a Black Zings, an American Top Team. We all coexist, and it's kind of whatever. We don't really speak to each other. But on this show, you've seen the rivalry just get clearly defined. By the end of the show, it is like the tension is thick.
Damn.
So are the guys living in a house?
The guys are living in a house.
The two teams are in one house.
The two teams, that's still the same. The two teams are still living in one house together, and but the difference is that they all go to their gyms. You know, they come to Black Zings, and the ATT, they go to ATT, and the winner of each fight, they get to choose what gym the fight stays in. So you know, you get home field advantage.
Oh,
so that was a big thing,
dope.
you know.
Wow.
And the atmosphere was crazy because it's not fans watching, it's teammates watching. And if you're in a fight, you know how invested I am for you to win the fight. So it just brought that little bit more chaos, you know. And there's a couple fights where if somebody would have threw like a water bottle, it would have just been a complete like bedlam, and it just would have been it would have been.
You sold me, man.
I'm telling you,
I was a hater. I'll be honest, I was a hater.
You was a hater?
We'll promote it.
Yeah, you got to check it out.
I was like, it's in Florida. Why do I care about these two teams? I'm not from there.
See,
you
but
sold it.
Gym Wars.
Gym
Wars. Yeah. I mean, it's where the sport, like there's been teams for as long as MMA's been around, but nobody really understands why. Like, why do we have a team?
Yeah.
You know, and I think this show helps to kind of help people get an idea of like why teams exist in the first place.
You need it, don't you? Don't you need friends and people know what you're going through? The emotional, the fear, like talking about. I remember Shane Carwin and you talking about just having a fight, and the day before, the hour before, going, what the fuck? Looking at people down in the pool, having a good time, going, why are we
Shane was the
doing
worst.
this?
At MGM when he's fighting Lesnar, I was fighting Chris Tuchscherer, Lesnar's partner. I go up to Shane's room because I'm all by myself freaking out. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I go up to Shane's room, and he's staring out the window, and he goes, come here, brother. You know, he talks. And he's staring out at the pool. Looks like a sad, shaved gorilla. He's staring at the pool, and he looks at me, and goes, the fuck are we doing?
He strongest, biggest man in the world.
Ever. He goes, that could be us down there at the pool sipping pina coladas. I go, yeah, for sure. I'm going to go back to my room, man.
Thanks for that.
You know
pep
who's the worst at that? GSP was the worst at that, man. I go to his room right before the fight. I go to his room. I'm like, hey, you ready? No, my friend, my God, I'm a fucking mess. I hate this. This is my last fight. Tabernacles. I am done. I can't stand this shit.
Is that true?
He was the worst.
GSP, the baddest guy on the planet.
Yeah, I hate this. I feel like my stomach is a nut. I can't breathe. I can't.
That's what he would do. Bro, when I went to GSP's room, this is before he fought Thiago Alves on UFC 100.
It's a tough fight for him, too.
And Greg Jackson goes, hey, we don't want to leave George by himself, so you go out there and just keep him coming. I don't know George that well at the time. Right. I'm up there, and I'm all, hey, George, Schaub. And he goes, you know, he's like, how you doing, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, I'm so fucking scared. And I was like, what? I came up here like for a motivational talk. I'm so fucking nervous. I was like,
I really appreciate hearing that, because trying to be good at anything, and you get somebody who's an extreme winner, I consider him an extreme winner.
That's why he was so good.
And yet you see the insanity he goes through, the self-doubt and the fear. And if that guy's going through it, then then guess what? It's just part of being human.
That's
being
it.
terrified
Everyone's
and
doing
getting
it.
in there anyway. And I, as a guy watching it and a huge fan, I never would have believed that until I heard that. I would have been like,
it surprised me, but it helped me feel better about myself, because I used to get like nervous like that too, but I would always battle it out. But
I wouldn't tell anyone.
Yeah, I didn't verbalize like that, but I'd just be like, oh man. I would have definitely like those red light thoughts, like, oh man, I'm gonna get knocked out. I'm like, no, I don't think that, you know. But it's just how, you know, it's just like you just battling yourself the whole time. But once you realize, like, the biggest thing that helped me keep my mind on being able to perform well is I would try to feel normal, like how I usually feel. And I'm like, I don't feel like how I normally feel, so something's wrong. But then I had to retrain my thought and process and say, well, this is how I feel when I get ready to fight.
Wait, so what do you mean? Like, so how would you retrain your thought?
Like, like I would feel nervous, right? And I had that feeling of anxiety, that feeling of fear and not feeling. And I would tell myself, this is normal. because I'm basing my normality off of how I normally feel like right now.
Right.
And I say to myself, I reprogram myself and say, hey, this is how you feel when you're ready to fight. And the more you feel like this, I'm like, yeah, that means I'm gonna have a really good fight.
So this is just I'm nervous. And
Yeah.
this is fight mode.
Yeah, and then I tell myself, when you felt like this before, you had the best fight ever. So feeling like this is a good thing. So then I put a positive twist on it. So then feeling like that becomes something I want to feel. Like I want to have that feeling.
I had a Navy SEAL say that to me who had seen combat, and I said, how do you guys deal with fear? He goes, you're terrified. He said, but what you want to do, especially when you're going to breach a door, best thing you ever hear when you cut through a door is first room clear. Because when you got to break through a door, that's when they're waiting for you.
Yeah.
And he said, and when you're in a firefight or whatever it is, he said, you're afraid, and you never ever deny it. You acknowledge it, and you go, look, I'm afraid. But I'm just going to go through my training.
Yeah.
I've been training so long, I can't do it wrong. So I'm really afraid, but just point your gun or whatever. And it's really well. I can't go into more of it. Maybe I was on that mission, but bottom line is don't worry about it. You guys are welcome for waking up free.
Yeah, right.
Rashad Evans, we're getting all this we got to. I guess we got to wrap it. You got other stuff to do.
All right, yeah.
So the Ultimate Fighter
it
premieres Wednesday
tonight.
nights, right?
Yeah, Wednesday
this will
nights.
air on Thursday.
Okay, so Wednesday nights, 10 p.m.
Okay. We'll be
this.
watching.
Yeah.
Rooting for.
And then for you personally, though, as a fighter employee of the UFC, what's next?
I'm just trying to get healthy right now. I'm 3 months
Don't
post
rush
operation.
it, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do, man. Because 2 back-to-back. I'm aiming for September and October just to have something in my mind, a goal to work for, so that way I'm not traveling around doing too much stuff that is gonna lead me further away from my goal. So September, October is when I want to go, and who I want to fight, it doesn't even matter.
You don't care.
Nah, having had fight taken away from me, not being able to fight this long, I'm just gonna be blessed to go out there and fight whoever.
Yeah,
so
no doubt.
it doesn't matter.
Come back and hang with us.
Yes,
Rashad
indeed.
Evans.
Rashad Evans, everybody.
Making a name for himself in an impossible sport.
Sugar.
Still relevant. Sugar, Rashad Evans. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Current events. It's current events.
All right, first current event of the day comes right from our own backyard in Venice, California. Venice is looking to legalize women sunbathing topless.
About time.
Tits are coming out in Venice.
About time.
Get them titties
So
out.
glad I sold my house. So glad I sold my house. And I'm in Calabasas.
Calabasas, you have to wear a one-piece swimsuit.
Yeah.
All women have to wear one piece and scarves.
Yeah. Anybody got a gun they can stick in my mouth right now? Are you kidding me? If
How
Venice
close is it
wasn't
to getting
awesome
done?
enough.
It passed 12-2. In the
12-2?
12-2 in the Venice Council. So it goes to LA Council next. And it looks like
I've always
we're
wondered
pretty
how
good.
you
It looks like
justify.
we made some tits out.
I've always wondered though how you legally justify not letting a woman show her breasts when guys can show their breasts and in other words, like
A little
women,
different.
Well, but
Set
is
of
it?
tits is different.
Is it though?
100%.
Only because men have sexualized them. But why would that be different in terms of like? I'm saying that women technically the breast is used to feed a child, right?
Or get titty fucked.
Sir, this is a family show. I cannot believe you just said or get titty fucked after I
I'll-
talked about the beautiful,
Well,
beautiful.
You said it's the
act
same.
of
It's not the
nurturing.
same. I'll tell you what, Brian. You go to Sacramento, have Chris Webber try and titty fuck you. It's not going to work out.
Well, I don't have any titties. That's true. I got to start doing my pec.
So it's
back and
not the
working-
same.
Working on my cleavage.
It's not the same. This is my thing.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of this. You know why? Have you ever been to a beach where
It's
women are allowed to walk
all
around naked?
liberal hippies.
All nude? Yeah. You've heard of Venice feet? Where their feet are all black because they're barefoot? You ever heard of Venice titty? Where their titties are all dirty and you know what I'm saying?
Why are their titties dirty? I don't know who you're hanging out
Because
with.
Venice. It's Venice,
But
man.
girls don't have
There's gonna be
dirty
girls with
tits.
dreads and tits hanging from one side.
Yeah.
It's not good, man.
Really?
I think it's a bad idea.
Do you?
I gotta be honest.
I have been on nude beaches, and I have to say that when you see a lot of tits, it's not like it's all Playboy.
No.
There tends to be some National Geographic situations going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's usually I'd say 1 out of 40 they're attractive usually.
Yeah.
Because usually the attractive girl's like, I'm good. I'm not going to Venice Beach. So it's gonna make it all dudes. And plus, dudes know that's a nude beach. So then you get a real cock fest. Does that make sense?
Oh, do you ever? I was in Mykonos with my sister and my friends, and some dude naked as the day is long with his dumb dick sitting there. And he was a dentist and he was American. He goes, where you guys from? I was like, well, you got your fucking dick out. Don't talk to me, Mr. Dentist, with your beard and your weird
Do you have a dick?
40s non-exercising body.
you have a dick,
Talking to me.
Colin?
He had a shit dick. He just had a dumb
Stub?
dick. Yeah, just a shit dick. Just
Just
a
a
regular
carrot?
dick. Like a dick
And a bush.
A
You
dick
for sure
I
had a
see
bush.
in my mind's eye when I think of just a shitty dick on a dentist who doesn't exercise.
That's how they are, man.
And he's all casual, like, where you guys from? Whereabouts? I'm like, listen, man, you're lying down, and I can see the upswing of your fucking undercarriage. I find you offensive. Don't talk to me. I was in shorts because I'm not fucking going around naked because that
I can't
water's
believe
too cold.
you didn't get naked.
No, because the water. Then my dick looks all tight, and I'm not going to have that.
true.
Bottom line is, I don't really want to show my dick off.
Bottom line is, I don't approve this, Venice.
No, and my balls hang too low. Now, moving on. The bottom line is, bravo, Venice.
I think Abbott Kenny should be a dicks out street. What if Abbott Kenny went dicks out? So no pants
then it
for
would
guys.
become a very gay neighborhood. Because I can promise you that gay men would be there and girls would be like, I'm not going there. There's just too many dicks. It's disgusting.
girls would not be into
It's
it.
disgusting. I'm not eating next to all those dicks.
I'm
It's
telling you, man,
disgusting.
people think it's going to be good. It does the opposite. It brings more dudes to a women's nude beach. And if dudes go pantless, it brings more dudes.
It also
One
brings,
way or another, we end up with way too many dudes.
yeah, it brings a bunch of teenagers like,
yeah.
dudes.
That's a very valid point. Oddly enough, in the 70s, Venice did the same thing. They re-legalized women sunbathing topless outdoors and at the beaches, and they had the exact same problem. LAPD couldn't contain how many creepy dudes were coming down to the
Yeah.
beach scamming on
Venice
girls,
is already creepy.
harassing.
Teenagers, 48-year-old actors.
Venice is already creepy as fuck.
Venice is weird enough as it is.
Yeah,
You want to make it more creepy?
Well, there
Get
it
Venice
is.
titties out.
there it is. Can't wait.
All right, next current event.
I don't approve. That's what I
Can't
meant.
wait.
Next current event is some creepball is selling Paige Van Zant's high school ID on eBay for $150.
What a fucking loser. How much is it,
You
though?
got
How much
to
is
get
it?
a load of this picture.
I do not approve
Is she hot in the
of that
picture?
at all. How much is it? I'll
She
pay
probably
for it.
looks 8 years old.
What a creep. Don't sell her ID. Give it back to her. Oh, that's pretty funny.
Oh, wow.
Well, Paige,
Well-
maybe you should buy it back.
Yeah, Paige, maybe
Wow,
you
that
should
is-
get on this. Well,
Paige, what's going on with those piggy tails? They're adorable in a way.
see,
It looked like one of those like joke
She's
senior
so cute.
picture kind of deals, but
She's so cute. She's so cute, and she doesn't look that cute there. That's the only place she doesn't look.
she looks batshit crazy in that
she's
picture.
like 17.
Still, she looks batshit crazy.
She's a cutie pie.
Yeah, she should buy that back. First of all, this guy might get the Fight on the Kid award for biggest loser we've ever heard of.
By the way, she looks like she's in the process of smiling, and the camera caught her. She's like, eh.
No, I think she's
You know,
trying to
you're
be
like,
funny.
oh.
I think she's trying to be funny.
Oh,
it's
she's
like
funny.
a funny senior pick.
I like it. I like it.
The guy putting that up for $100 or $150 deserves. You get first team all.
I'll give you
loser.
$200 right now.
First team all loser.
We should buy it from him
send
and
to
give
Bryan.
it back to Paige.
Send it to Bryan.
Send it to me. I'll buy it from you, actually. For real. Send it to me. I'll buy it, and I'll give it to Paige.
I don't think she cares. Why would you give a shit?
I don't know.
It's not like it's a promiscuous photo.
No, I'm gonna frame it. We'll put it up on the wall.
That'd be funny.
It's not a bad.
What else you got, Ev?
I got one more for you. And this story comes to us from what appears to be Boston. And, I mean, the long story short is some guy was walking down the street, walked past the cop car, looked in the cop car, and the cop was using his in-car computer to look at porn.
Well, they're human.
They're human. Give him a break, man. You're sitting in your car all day. It's boring. He wants to get a little wank.
Well, for sure. So, oh damn! And you got a picture of it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that man's on
That's awesome.
YouPorn.
That's awesome.
You know what?
Nothing I haven't done a lot.
in the car.
No, but
Well,
in my hotel room.
Have either of you ever cranked down in the car?
Never.
I have never done that. No.
I've never let. The problem is
I had
can't
sex in my car.
can't they track what the cops look at in the car? Like, hey John, you're looking at the gangbang again.
Probably, but they're
For
like,
sure, solve crimes though.
They're
For
all
sure
dudes. They're
yeah.
all dudes. Maybe they're solving some kind of a porno crime. I'm working on a case here.
What's a porno crime like?
The case of the dumb dick and the Venice tits. All right.
He's
moving
just
on.
a dude. Yeah.
Yeah. Next question.
That's a wrap.
Oh.
Heyo.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm probably going to go to. I have to go to Sacramento.
You really gotta get going, Bryan.
Yeah, I got to go to Sacramento. I got to do some stand up.
Where can they see you this weekend?
My friend, they can see me at the Punchline, Sacramento. I got 2 shows tonight, 2 shows tomorrow. Come see me. We're selling fast, and I look forward to seeing everybody.
And guess what? We have a special episode of The Fighter and the Kid dropping with Lady Valor. If you have not seen this documentary, all the fans, you have homework.
Yeah.
You have
It's a
homework
great doc,
before
man.
this documentary, before this show drops. We're going to air a special one on Monday for you guys with Lady Valor. Watch the documentary Lady Valor. It's on Netflix. You can find it all over. She is coming on The Fighter and the Kid for one hell of an episode.
And her book is Warrior Princess, which I also read. I recommend both because Lady Valor is a great continuation of that book.
And tell them exactly what it's about before you leave, Bryan.
It's about a Navy SEAL who has always felt like he was a woman inside and finally got a sex operation and now travels the country and with injuries and everything talking about
One of the baddest Navy SEALs ever.
Oh, dude.
Still trains other Navy SEAls.
13 deployments, a lot of combat missions.
Was the first one to go in the door.
Just a killer, and yet and still teaches combat
In a dress.
Teaches
Gangster.
combat techniques with guns.
To Navy SEAls.
With Navy SEAls and SWAT guys in high heels. Can't wait.
Watch your P's and Q's. God, I hope she attacks Bryan.
Yeah.
Bryan the Kid Callen is going to slang some jokes in Sacramento. I almost said San Antonio. Slang some jokes in Sacramento with his Jason Williams white chocolate jersey on. So that leaves the big brown breakdown questions solo. Let's do it, Ev.
All right, we'll kick things off with a question from Neil Steno. He wants to know, if you got to drive cross-country with anyone in history, who would you take on that ride with you?
God, cross country?
Brutal, right?
Oh.
With even your best friend, that sucks.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get on each other's nerves no matter what. I mean, I'd probably do it with Callen just because he is smart and can make you laugh and knows when to shut up. I mean, anyone.
Does he?
Over a long period of time, he does eventually. That's tough, man. I'm not gonna say any like famous celebrity or dead celebrity because I don't know him. An entire amount of time in the car would be a beast. I guess you'd want someone who could teach you something. You know what I'm saying?
I guess.
Who could tell you like stories?
I'd say don't annoy me would be number one.
Yeah, know when to shut the fuck up.
Know when to shut the fuck up in that kind of a distance trip becomes the number one priority.
And
entertainment second.
Yeah, and don't eat your snacks all loud. That'd be the other thing. And be a good driver because I fall asleep at the wheel. So for sure be able to do most of the driving.
Have you ever been on a cross-country trip?
I'm not a big road trip guy. I've driven obviously Denver to LA, Denver to Las Vegas, or Boulder to Las Vegas tons of times. Boulder to San Diego tons of times. And it was like me and my 5 roommates from college.
All packed into one car?
A big ass suburban SUV.
Oh, yeah.
So that's fun. But even
So
we got on each other's nerves.
6-7 hours maybe?
No, man. From to Denver to Vegas is more like you're looking at like 9 hours. And then to LA you're looking at like 14, 15.
Yeah. All right. That's not too bad.
I'm not down for the cross country.
They're tough.
Yeah. I dated a girl who wanted to always drive across country. She would drive, like her friend was coming in from New York, so she flew out to New York to drive with her back to L.A., or she would drive all over. I'm just not down for it.
Was it a drive with a point though?
What'd you say?
Was it a drive with a destination in mind? Like if you're gonna drive from like Southern California, if you wanted to go up to Big Sur. Big Sur is fucking beautiful. Yeah, you can camp. You can do you can go surfing. There's a million awesome things that you can go do up there. If you're just driving cross country just to kind of get to a city and be like, okay, we're here.
Yeah.
That's a different ballgame.
Yeah, I mean, I like to drive, especially my Porsche. I'll drive down PC. You can catch me on PCH. If I'm lonely on Saturday night or Sunday, I'll drive down PCH for 2 hours.
There's Chipotle on PCH. I feel like that's where your destination is.
Yeah, right. There's, you know what? There's one. There is right off in that Malibu, like little country mart there.
Big Brown's feeling down. You can catch him on PCH headed at Chipotle at 200 miles an hour.
That's right.
All right. Next one up. This one comes from Felix Bond, and he wants to know, how would you feel about fighting Rashad in your light heavyweight debut?
No.
Would you ever do
No, I'd prefer. There's too many fighters and there's too many fights out there for me and for Rashad. No. I love Rashad. I prefer not to.
No chance, huh?
No, not what they're currently paying me and what they're paying him. No.
That'd be like a Dillashaw, Uriah Faber kind of deal. They'd have to work
Kind
out.
of, but at least Dillashaw, Uriah's for the belt. I'd fight anyone for the belt.
Would you fight Rashad for the belt?
Yes, 100%.
Would you fight Lyoto for the belt?
Oh, you bastard.
He's so nice.
So nice. Nicest guy ever. I'd rather not, but yeah. I'd fight anyone for the belt. But just as a fight, no. Just as a, you're just on the main card, you know, you're not the main event or the championship fight, no.
All right. Well, we'll go to the next one. This is from Alan Stark. He wants to know, and this was directed at Rashad, but I feel like you can answer this too. How hard was it to coach and deal with Matt Mitrione?
You know what? Rashad and Matt were great together. And obviously, Matt was my best friend in the house. We were still close friends, even though we fought, which was terrible. But Matt and Rashad are training partners now in Florida at the Black Zillions. But Matt at the time, I remember Rashad was always like, dude, if Matt learns how to fight and learns how to control like his wildness, he's gonna be a monster. And I was kind of hating on him, like, what are you talking about? The kid's terrible. He has like fast hands. I don't see it, man. But boy, were they right. Like, I mean, he was an athlete, you know, but I didn't see it. I just didn't see him like learn the ground game and wrestling and the stand up. I didn't, you know, but I thought Matt would have a good career, but they always said that. Rashad and my coach at the time, Trevor Whitman, always said, if Matt decides he wants to be really good, he's going to be really good. And they were really right.
Yeah, I would say they were pretty spot on that one. Where's he training at right now?
He's at the Black Zillions, getting ready to fight Ben Rothwell in June in Louisiana. He's at the Black Zillions, then he does his own camp in Indianapolis.
He's a bad dude. All right, we'll just wrap on this one. This is from Ryan Descenso. Who would win in a backyard brawl, Rashad or Rampage?
Oh, man.
So I guess we're taking this one out of the octagon and into the streets.
We're doing a Dada 5000
I
style.
was just going to say
Kimbo
that. We're doing a
Slice style.
dog fight.
If it was the freaking dog fights, boy, you can't count Rashad out. And Rashad did beat him when they fought straight up. I feel like Rashad would take him down in the schoolyard too, you know? Yeah, I wouldn't bet against Rashad. I love Rampage too, man. I'll tell you what, you'd have to pay those guys so much money to fight outside the octagon. So unless some Scrooge McDuck billionaire who's like, unless Dada 5000 all of a sudden becomes a billionaire, I don't think we're going to see it. But
You don't think Paige would do it?
I think Rampage would do it. I don't think Rashad would do it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you're talking about a guy who has, if my memory serves me right, he's got God's Street Soldier tattooed on his arm.
He does have Street Soldier tattooed on his arm. That is his nickname. I would take Rashad just because of the takedowns and stuff.
And I feel like most street fights end up on the ground anyway.
Always. Even girl street fights. They yank each other's hair and fall to the ground and their asses are hanging out and stuff.
World Star.
World Star. Is that it?
Yeah, man, that's their app.
Awesome, man. What do we got for you guys? Firing the Kid, thefighterinthekidshop.com. Next week, I'll announce it on Tuesday's show when we're going to drop the tanks, the Firing the Kid tanks, the Abbott Kenny tanks. It's our best work yet. You guys will love these. I would assume they drop Tuesday. You'll see. I'll announce it. I'm waiting for the shipment. That's why I don't have an exact date for you. So I'll announce it on my Instagram and Twitter. That's at Brendan Schaub. Bryan will do his best to mess it up. That's at Bryan Callen. Go listen to Bryan. Go watch Bryan in Sacramento. He's the funniest guy in the business. Believe that. This is the Firing the Kid. We're out.